live on YouTube. All right, today we are going to be talking about finding your niche. Every single day somebody asks me about how to find their niche. Questions like, how can I find a good niche? Or I'm not sure what my niche should be. What should I do? Or what if the content that people want to see is not the content I want to create in my niche? There are so many questions about niches and social media, but why? Why? Why are people talking about niches so much? Well, I heard that being a content creator is one of the most sought after careers of all time. And I actually read an article recently that said it was talking about people seeing other people creating content on either one social media platform or another, and they start thinking to themselves, well, hey, I can do that, right? It looks easy enough. That's a whole nother story. But the first thing I want to mention about that is that content creation is nothing new. Every time you give an opinion, every time you share photos of your vacation with your friends, that's content. If you create a newsletter for your clients, that's content. But what we're really talking about, and what I think people are really talking about when they say we're talking about content creation, they mean somebody who posts videos, photos, memes, GIFs, content to social media platforms in order to grow some sort of audience and to ultimately earn an income from it, right? So I just kind of want to give you guys some insight on what I feel are the best ways to actually, once you've decided you want to be a content creator, how to actually decide what topic you're going to post on, how to pick a good niche. So anyway, back to the person who says, I can do that, and it looks really cool. And what happens is then they start thinking about what they may actually want to create, and then they get stuck because the question is, well, what am I creating content about? And then some problems arise. Either they don't have any good ideas, or they have too many good ideas, or they think that the idea that they have isn't good because, number one, either that topic feels too overdone, oversaturated, everybody's doing it, or else they go in the other direction and they think that it's too obscure and that people may not be interested in it. Hey, I'm also live on TikTok. I just decided to set my camera up. If anybody hops in on TikTok and wants to ask a question, I'm going to be watching my screen there too. But personally, I feel like people like me who are, and you guys who are following me on YouTube, say hi, introduce yourself. Hi, who is that? Inspiration with Maddie. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. I was going to say that I feel like, personally, people like me who are in business, who are also content creators, we have it a lot easier because we know what our content is going to be about. It's going to be related to whatever we're selling, period. But for others of you who are maybe looking to escape the 9 to 5 or to come up with a side hustle possibly, you have to put a little bit more thought into it. And that's what I'm going to go into today, how to decide on your topic, your focus, your niche. In the article that I read earlier, hi Jada, the advice they give was find one thing you really love and enjoy doing, and then make your content around that. That's number one. Number two, if you can't figure out what your niche is, or you have too many things going on, that you enjoy doing, then try them all until you find one that you really enjoy creating and that adds value to your viewers and followers. So I don't exactly 100% agree with this advice. And let me say this. This advice is great if you plan on creating content just as a hobby or as just something fun to do in your free time. This is not good advice, however, if you plan to turn your content creation into something that can be eventually a money-making enterprise, right? So let me know, for those of you that are watching on TikTok and on YouTube, if you are someone who's interested in content creation, are you interested in being a content creator because as a hobby, something fun to do in your free time? Or are you hoping to somehow, eventually, some way make money from it? Let me know. I see some questions in the comments on TikTok about views and such. We're not going to talk about that right now because a lot of times the reason why people aren't getting views is because they haven't chosen the right niche. And you'll understand more as I go on. But I'm gonna really try to stay on track and just talk about finding your niche. But I need to say this. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about how content creators actually become successful. And I'm talking about who you would call influencers, how they make their money, how much money there is to be made. And I think universally the thought is sometimes, I'll just create some content. I'll just grow a following, and then somehow I'm going to start making the big money like all these other influencers I see online. And nothing could be further from the truth. I hate to burst your bubble, but it's for this reason that I think that the one important step in choosing a niche that you should not skip, it doesn't need to be the first step, but the one important step you shouldn't skip is thinking about how you're going to be able to monetize your content, your audience, your platforms. And by monetize, let's just break it down. How are you going to make money from it? How are you going to create an income from this? And there are a bunch of different ways you can create this income. I'm not going to be talking about, I'll tell you a little bit further down, like different ways. But how are you going to support yourself while you're creating content? Well, let's talk about this from my point of view, because I'd like to really use myself as an example because I'm the creator that I know best. Before I got into the social media strategy business, I had several different interests, still do, passions, so to speak. I love to cook. I love keeping things organized. I love dabbling in minimalism and simplifying my lifestyle. And I love social media. I just realized as I'm right in the middle of this that I did not connect the mic that I wanted to connect. Can y'all hear me okay? This is probably not going to be the best audio because I'm just using my computer audio. And I'm really afraid to fool with it because I don't want to mess anything up. Rookie mistake. No. I'm using it. False alarm. Okay, talk about me. I said I love to cook. I love keeping things organized. I love dabbling in minimalism and simplifying my lifestyle. And I also love social media. So when you're out here consuming content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, you see all of these types of content, right? And some of these types of content look really, really fun to create. Now, personally, I'm not looking to create content as a hobby just because I love it. I want to be compensated for it in some way. You know what I'm saying? The saying goes, do something you love and you never have to work a day in your life, right? Well, I'm all about that. Okay, step one. We're going to talk about the steps in choosing your niche. So hopefully all of you have been asking me about niche. You're tuned in, or you can watch the replay and follow these steps. And honestly, these steps are not steps that you have to follow in order. It may not be a linear process. What you need to do is just to be sure that you've considered all of the steps that I'm going to talk about when it comes to deciding on your niche. So step one, what do you love? What do I love? What am I passionate about? What can I talk about all day long and not get tired of? So I gave you my list: cooking, organizing, minimalism, social media, probably some more, but those are just 4 we're going to deal with. Okay, next step, which of these topics am I really good at? Now, I don't have to be the world's leading expert, but I do need to have a fair amount of knowledge about it. So if I had to rate my own list, I would probably put cooking first, then social media, then organization, and then minimalism. Okay, moving on to the next step, step 3. Thinking about these different types of content, what kind of content is easier or attainable for me to create? I mean, I already know that cooking content and filming cooking content is dang hard because I actually tried it when I was a personal chef. Hats off to my cooking creators. It is really, really difficult, in my opinion, to cook, film, talk, and do all the things at the same time. So scratch that off my list. If you are someone who this type of content, you've figured out some hacks and you can easily create it, then by all means, go for it. But this is just for me, right? So, next step. This is the step I was talking about before. How can I monetize it? Well, if I had left cooking on my list, perhaps I could sell a cookbook. But I have to sell a lot of cookbooks to make any real money. Well, maybe I could teach an online cooking class. Fun fact, I actually tried that years ago before I was ever on YouTube. It didn't work out. Maybe it would work out these days with all the tools and technology that we have. But back then, it just, no. Okay, let's move on to my next passion, organizing. Maybe, how would I monetize that? Maybe I could create some digital guides, some lists, some checklists, an app, something like that. Okay, same for minimalism and living a simple life. I could maybe create something digital that people would want to buy that could help them with their process of downsizing or simplifying their life. Okay, how about social media? Oh, there is a lot to know about how to succeed with social media. And I know that like the back of my hand. Now, I could teach people about that. And I could definitely charge a lot more per person than if I was just selling them a cookbook. You see how that process works? That thought process works? So think about the monetization sooner than later. I want to talk about my friend Stacy, and I'm actually going to be interviewing her in an upcoming podcast. Shameless plug, my podcast, Unfiltered, the real talk about the business of content creation, is going to have its 4th episode already. This was just an idea in my head a month ago, and now I've already have 4 episodes getting ready to go up. But anyway, I'm going to be interviewing Stacy, who is a business content creator. But I remember when she first told me she wanted to be a content creator. I remember like it was yesterday. She said, I want to do something in social media, but I don't know what. I don't know what I could create about. And so she started off asking herself these same questions that I just mentioned. What am I passionate about? Well, She's an avid dog owner. She loves to shop. She loves to travel. She actually has a deep knowledge about all sorts of things. But what she's decided on was to start creating content about the barn dominium that she had designed and built for herself and her husband. Okay, cool. But the next thing I asked her was, how are you going to monetize? And she had to think about it for a while. She had designed one floor plan. We bantered back and forth. How about if you design a few more floor plans and people can buy them? Bingo. There's an idea. Now that was about a little over 3 years ago. And since then, she's come up with, at least in my count, over a dozen different ways to monetize, which including not only those stock floor plans we talked about, but custom floor plans, a magazine about barndos, merch, affiliate relationships, and a whole lot more. So once she decided how she was going to monetize, she had a reason and a focus for all this hard work and hours she spent creating the content. You understand why the monetization part is important? Good, I'm glad y'all are tracking over here on TikTok. So you don't have to consider monetization first, but be sure to include it in your decision-making process. There's some other things to consider. What about market demand? Meaning, are people really interested in what you're going to talk about? Now, Stacy was a little concerned about that because when she started posting content about barndos, it was very new. And she just kind of had a hunch that she was on the verge of something. So she went forward with it. But she was concerned. She was like, I don't know if people even know what barndos are. But here's what she did, and what you can do if you feel like you're on the verge of a trend is you can be the one educating people about the thing that is on the verge of blowing up. You can be the one that's putting the content out there and showing them what that is. So is there a demand? Now, I'm trying to think of an example of something that would be just super obscure. I'm sure you guys can use your imagination. There could be something super, super specific and obscure that, it's okay for the audience not to be huge. It's okay for there to be a smaller audience. You just don't want it to be something that nobody except you and your best friend are interested in. Next thing is, can you compete? Can you compete in this space? Personally, I feel like I can compete in the space of social media marketing, social media education. But there are some of you who want to be beauty influencers, and you're okay at doing makeup, but you're not an expert. Therefore, you may want to rethink whether you're going to be able to compete with the girlies out there who really, really are experts at makeup application, makeup tutorials. That's an example. The next thing is beauty. Kiana, great question. Kiana says, does it matter if your niche is very saturated? Like right now, my niche is beauty. It doesn't matter if you can compete. If you can compete, I had a beauty influencer, Megan B, on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and she's killing it. She hasn't been around that long on social media, and she's killing it. But she was a professional makeup artist, and she had that makeup stuff down. So that was easy for her. Of course, she had to learn content creation, but she knew the makeup. So, can you compete? Good question. I think not being an expert can also make it more relatable to the average makeup users. True, but you have to be very careful how you present yourself. And that could be a little difficult to brand yourself as being someone. In fact, I work with another creator who made her mark doing makeup for beginners. And so it's possible that she wasn't an expert in all the fancy makeup applications, but she was sharing her journey as being someone who was new to makeup. So, yes, it could, but you have got to be dang sure you set yourself apart with your branding, with your topics, with your thumbnails to reach those people who aren't looking for the expert beauty influencers. Okay, I talked about market demand. I talked about can you compete. What about long-term sustainability? This is what I mean by that. Is this a trend that's going to be a flash in the pan? Are you creating about something that's going to be over and done with in the next 6 months? Now, in the case of other creators that I've worked with who are, let's see, they do show reviews. And of course, shows have a limited run. Sometimes even for shows that have years of a run, like Scandal, for instance, or Love is Blind, where they have season after season after season. At some point, that show's going to have its run. Nothing wrong with hopping on that trend for that particular show. Just know that at some point, you may need to pivot into something, a different type of show or something else. So make sure that the topic or the niche you pick has long-term sustainability. So if you're one of these people, I see y'all's questions and I'm going to answer them in just a while, as long as they have to do with finding your niche, because I really want to keep this live stream targeted on that. And if I need to do another live stream to address your issues, then I will. But if you're one of these people who see yourself being a content creator, hopefully what you've gotten from what I've said so far today is that picking the right niche is the right niche for you. The right niche for you is a very, very critical step. So align your passion with your expertise. Ensure that you have a path to make money for monetization. Think about the ease of content creation or the difficulty of creating that type of content. Assess the market demand. Is there enough demand for this? And consider long-term sustainability, because you're going to have to create a lot of content once you stick your foot out there into the world of content creation in order to be consistent and to attract the audience. But if you do these things, you're going to be well on your way to carving out your unique space in today's landscape online. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can answer some of the questions in the comments on both platforms. Let's see, I'm scrolling back up. Great. Kamaya, I really need to think about how I'm going to monetize mommy content, lifestyle content. All I have right now is affiliate links, ads, and sponsorships, which that is a very common path for lifestyle content creators. However, I would urge you to put on your thinking cap and even ask your audience, Kamaya, how you could be more helpful to them, because that's what it's all about. It's about creating something that could help your audience. And the issue that you're faced with is why I suggest putting that monetization question at the forefront instead of after you've already gotten started. But yes, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with affiliate links, ads, and sponsorships. But the most successful, financially successful creators in all of these spaces have something that they can sell to their audience, because a brand, they're going to give you a small percentage of what they're going to make. An affiliate is going to be a small percentage of what that company makes. An ad is going to be pennies, per 1,000 views. It could be pennies per 1,000 views. With your own product, you set the price and there's no middleman. Not that everyone needs to take that path, but for this day, in this day and age, for a content creator who is fairly new, not many of us grown people, now teenagers can do it, not many of us grown people can afford to sit here and make YouTube content for free for a year or more before you even get your first paycheck. Because that's what's going to happen with ads, affiliate links, and sponsorships, because you have to build up enough of an audience to be attractive to brands. You have to build up enough views and content for your AdSense revenue to build up. And the like. You understand what I'm saying? Just going over to TikTok. Let me see if I can answer any questions. Kiana says she's doing it for income eventually, but also for the community aspect of it. I'd love to build my own community. Okay. In that case, go for it. But it becomes a lot of work. And, most of our hobbies, if we do hobbies, if you have a hobby, it takes time. So there's nothing wrong with that. Would I say a content creator and influencer are different? Very interesting question. I just, there was a newsletter that I actually got featured in today, and they were talking about the difference between a content creator and an influencer. I'm trying to find that email, because it was really content creators, and she's talked about how some people look down on influencers, but we're all being, that we have that term influencer. We're all being influenced by content online, even if we don't consider the person who we learned that information from to be an influencer. But influencer, in my mind, and this may not be the textbook definition, is someone who creates content with the intention of using their platform to influence others to watch certain things, make certain purchases, participate in certain events. That's an influencer. A content creator can, like I said, we're all creating content, whether you consider yourself or not. If you have a Facebook account and you're sharing what you ate for dinner with your friends, that's creating content. If you are posting about your business online, that is content. That's a content creator. I have over 1,000 subscribers, but my watch time is super low. Yeah, I hear ya. I hear ya. Watch time can be low. You have to troubleshoot your content to see why is the watch time low. I said I wasn't going to veer off on these other topics. I'm going to stay just on niche. But we can talk about that another thing. My niche is hair. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, not sure how to get back out there. Becca, why aren't you sure? Your niche is hair. I watch all kinds of very valuable hair related content uh, on all platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. What is the purpose of you sharing your content? Is the purpose of you sharing the content to get more seats, more butts in your seats in your salon? Or are you trying to build some type of a side hustle business as a cosmetologist? Or you could be selling a product. You might have a hair care line or some tools or a class. How would I recommend showcasing travel content? Lots of ideas for that online. Look at follow some travel influencers, travel content creators, your favorites. You should have, if you're in the travel niche, you should have your favorite aspirational channels that you watch. Look at what they're doing. That's my short answer. I'm a mom. I used to do makeup for fashion shows. I love beauty, but mom content was easier to make. So, Charmaine, are you having any success with that? Because sometimes, I did say find content that's easier for you to make. But sometimes the easier content, you can fall into a trap. I hear people say all the time, well, I just wanted to start vlogging because it was easier. But sometimes that type of easy doesn't end up growing your audience or creating something that you can monetize. Becca. Yeah, you're the hair person. I'm trying to educate people who may not know how to do their hair and maintain it. That's perfect. Whenever you're talking about educating people about something, that is a valuable niche. There are people who don't know how to care for their hair, myself included. And we're constantly looking for tips. How do we do this? How do we do that? I watched a whole video on TikTok yesterday. Someone showing how to tie her hair up at night. It seems simple enough, but for some of us, it's very complicated, and we need to be taught how to do it. So if you have a niche where you're teaching people how to do their hair and maintain it, perfect. So let me know, y'all, on YouTube and on TikTok, has this opened your eyes? Have you learned anything about choosing a niche that maybe you hadn't thought of in that way before? Kamaya says, I'll definitely ask my audience on a poll in a video. You're coming back after a year break, expecting your third. Woo! So I need to be super consistent. Absolutely. You have to be, and especially coming back after a break, whether it's a month or a year, you have to keep showing up and let your audience know that you're here for the long run. Oh, tough enough, ASMR. I have a family channel, but I'm having a hard time finding my niche and being different from all the other family mommy channels. So, you said your niche is family, right? What sets you apart? That is another important aspect of finding your niche. What sets you apart? Let me give you an example. Lots of people out there talking about social media strategy, growing a YouTube channel, how to do YouTube. What sets me apart? A, I'm Black. Not a huge amount of Black people talking about this. B, I'm a woman. YouTube is a very male-centered platform. I know that when I've gone to conventions, and there's very few, it's a very white male-centered platform. So when you see someone like me, who is my skin color, is a woman, who's mature, not 21 years old, 31, 41, or even 51. And that is my secret sauce. That's what sets me apart. Everything ain't for everybody, but it's possible, and it's proven to be the case for me, that I resonate with a particular target audience. That I'm saying the same stuff that other YouTube experts, social media experts are saying, but I say it in a way that people resonate with better or differently. Right? So think about what sets you apart. I don't know anything about your mommy channel. Sometimes the mommy channels set apart is they have a whole bunch of kids. Sometimes they have triplets. Sometimes they live out of the country. What's special about you? What's different about you? And play that up. It may be you're not the only person in the world that has this issue or this situation, but it's a matter of niching down even further, or exactly using that, what makes you different, to set you apart from other family channels. So you're going to have to think about it. Nobody knows but you. Ask your audience, what did they think? The audience that you have. Talk to them about, what do you think is different about me from the other family channels? If you're too close up to it and you can't see it yourself, ask somebody else. Vlogging is easy, but if you don't have an audience, I already found that it's hard to gain watch hours. Absolutely. I talk about this all the time. I'm going to make short form, long form. I already made long form content. Please don't consider vlogging, as a genre, not as a type of video, as a genre. Like follow me around and see what I'm doing in my life type of genre. Don't consider that as a new content creator if you expect to go anywhere, unless you have it is going to be so easy to set yourself apart. Like the mom who has 10 kids, like the interracial couple with a blended family, like the girl who lives in a van and has a white snake. Not saying it's impossible, but it is much harder, because vlogging came from OG content creators on YouTube who had already made a name for themselves with crafting or home decor or beauty, fashion. And as they gained a huge audience, people started to want to know more about the behind the scenes. So they started sharing their lives. Some people moved over there and stuck it out and still are there. Some people moved over there for a little while and came back. Some people have 2 different channels going at the same time. But if people don't know you, don't know who you are, it's extremely difficult for them to get invested in your content. What it is you're doing on a day-to-day, why should I be interested? Unless you're doing something unless you have a lifestyle that I'm super interested in. That lifestyle doesn't have to be lifestyles of the rich and famous. It could be, I live abroad. I'm a college student, getting a degree in nursing. I'm in a wheelchair. What is setting you apart from all the other content creators? So yeah, I hate that people have to learn this the hard way. I wish I could just tell everybody who's considering it, just stop. Don't do that. It's hard to add, because content creation is about adding value. People don't come back again and again unless you're adding value. Value can be added through education. Value can be added through inspiration. Value can be added through experiences. But if you believe that I'm just seeing these content creators turn on their camera and share their lives, and they have hundreds and thousands of views, and why can't I get those hundreds of thousands of views? You have to look at their origins, where they started from. Some were gamers. Some had comedy prank channels. Those were specific niches. And then they transitioned to vlogs. And still, I believe, unless you are of a certain demographic, that it's going to be very, very hard to move your channel past this plateau with just vlogs. Prove me wrong. Idea. Ooh, vegan food truck. So I want to start a YouTube channel for lifestyle content and also in the process of opening a vegan food truck. That would be great content. Through the process. Take us through the process. We want to know, what is that like, setting up, like getting your vegan food truck off the ground? The ups, the downs, the challenges. Some of us may want to do the same thing, and some of us just enjoy watching the journey of someone who is going after their dreams. That's a great topic. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you guys are talking in the comments to each other and geeking each other up. I love that. I love that about the community. I have a community on Facebook called YouTube Growth Academy, I think, that's open for anyone to join. And we do a lot of that stuff, talk and share and encourage. Um, Also, shameless plug, my YouTube Growth Masterclass. Excuse me, that's the old course. My YouTube Growth and Income Accelerator course and coaching program is open for enrollment for YouTube creators who are already monetized, already made a bunch of videos, and they're just looking to level up to that next level. There's going to be a link after I post this video. In this video, you can also just go to my website, tonytannerscott.com. Do I have a website here? Let's see. Put it on there. Oh, that's wrong. tonytannerscott.com. I used to have text that I could put on screen. You could check that out. If you are not yet monetized, if you have a smaller channel, you're just getting started, you still need help, check out Start YouTube the Right Way. That will get you started off on the right foot, that will walk you through this process of choosing a niche. It will walk you through this process of coming up with your content ideas, and make sure that you don't get down the road like a lot of you have and go, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is not going the way I thought it would. If you start off on the right foot, it's going to be a lot easier to grow to a level where you can start working with brands, where you can start making AdSense income, where you can start having an audience that you can market to and sell something to eventually. It's really super important to start off on the round foot. People are asking questions in my lives like, well, how do I do this? And how do I get views? I can't, there's a lot to tell about it. It's not rocket science, but it's not a simple 15-minute conversation, which is why I created the courses. So, any more questions about niching, finding a niche, determining a niche, trying to decide if your niche is right for you? My mommy content is focused on self-care after pouring into your family. So much you lose yourself. Oh, that's incredible. You've just got to make sure that you get that across in your branding, that this is what people are going to get once they start watching your content. Make that super clear. Make that super clear in your branding. I'm glad it's been enlightening. I'm so glad, Desiree. Um, yes, you need space to get your ideas out. It's a lot of brain work. And sometimes uh, you can brainstorm for a while and just walk away from it, leave it alone. And then later on, you'll find that the ideas will come to you after as you walked away for a while. So try that. YouTube can be intimidating, but tell you what, the only thing you need to do is to um, try it. Everybody starts off sucking at first, unless you have professional film background. Everybody's first videos suck. Don't matter. You know why? Because ain't nobody gonna see those videos. Nobody gonna see the videos. Practice, get better. That's the only way you're gonna get better at any of this stuff on content creation. Learn from your mistakes, learn from the data, is to create the content and create a lot of it. I have a unique angle because of my relationship to Raven. Yes, I do. And I'm, started off with people asking, how did she become so successful? And me trying to package what I know and what I did into something that I could share with the rest of the content creators to help them level up. So no matter where you are, I have free guides, I have a free workshop. You don't have to spend any money. You can learn all this stuff on your own. I have free checklists in my link in bio, both for Instagram and TikTok for those of you there. Start there. Start with the free stuff. Get as far as you can. And when you feel like you just can't take it any further without any help, then reach out for help if this is something you really want to do. If not, leave it alone and go find something else to do. There's nothing wrong. Not everybody, even though what's been said is that everybody wants to be a content creator, everybody doesn't need to be a content creator. There's other things that you can do and be successful in it. Sorry. Yes, keep trying. Being a mother of a creator, I hope I'm not just getting authority because I'm her mom. I am very deeply involved in her business. I am her mom, but I am her business manager. And when I work with Raven Elise, I try to, most of the time, take off my mom hat. And I put on the business manager hat. And and I know my demeanor when the creators that I work with tell me that I'm like an aunt or a mother figure. It should be grandmother. But because I honestly want to see the creators that I work with and those that I don't work with succeed. There are too many people out here killing it in these internet streets, and our community can do it too. It's just that we need to focus on the right things and take the right steps and move in the right direction. So anyway, I'm glad you guys have joined me today. Let me know. Tune in to the podcast. If you haven't watched the podcast episodes, one with Raven Elise, one with beauty influencer Megan B. I've got one with food content creator. Even if you're not interested in food content creation, watch this interview because he is fairly new. He's at the beginning of his journey and he's got a lot to say and a lot of insights about what it takes to make it in content creation in 2024. And then tomorrow, or posting Sunday, will be the interview with business content creator, my friend Stacy Lynn, who has built an immense business empire. I'm going to say solely by using organic social media in the matter of a few short years. And you really need to hear her story because it's super inspiring, especially for those of you who are like me and who aren't spring chickens. So tune in. Kiana, do I feel like an introduction video is necessary when starting on YouTube? It is, but not for the reasons you think. In my courses, I teach how to create a trailer or an introduction video, not because you need the trailer on your channel, although it's nice. It's because it allows you to really hone in on who you are as a creator. It requires you to think through this stuff. So once you know who you are as a content creator and what value you have to offer, and you put that into some content like an introduction or a trailer video, your path forward is going to be so much clearer. You're going to know exactly why you're here, exactly who you're creating content for, exactly why you're creating that content. All right, so that's the last question. Thanks for being here, and I'll put all the information in the description of this video, everything you need. If you don't see it, my email will be there. Shoot me an email, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.